Federal Trade Commission announced a major sweep today in a nationwide effort to curb robocalls and stop the companies behind them. Consumer reporter Jen Pachano has details on this law enforcement action against those who distributed billions of illegal calls and sold more than 700 million telemarketing leads.
The FTC teamed up with more than 100 federal and state law enforcement partners nationwide, including the attorneys general from all 50 states, in a joint effort to stop the biggest offenders when it comes to robocalls and predatory practices. The sweep, called Operation Stop Scam Calls, was a new crackdown on illegal telemarketing calls involving more than 180 actions, targeting operations responsible for billions of calls to U.S. consumers. Fluent LLC, which sold more than 620 million leads, was issued a $2.5 million civil penalty. VICEROY Media Solutions LLC was issued a $913,000 penalty. Both lead generators are banned from helping with robocalls. YODEL Technologies LLC was issued a $1 million civil penalty for making 500 million calls to those on the Do Not Call registry. Solar Exchange LLC was slapped with a nearly $14 million civil penalty for making tens of millions of calls to those on that DNC registry. And Hello Miami LLC was part of the sweep for making 37 million robocalls impersonating Amazon. Phil DeBonate with the local FTC office says they're putting lots of resources into stopping so-called gatekeepers.
We know that you're allowing the bad traffic, the illegal robocalls into the country, and you need to stop. And so we are disrupting that flow of illegal robocalls into the country. And then the other part of that is we are notifying these providers that we are looking seriously in this space.
The FTC has brought a total of 167 cases against illegal robocallers and do not call violators, including many lead generators and VoIP service providers. Defendants have been ordered to pay more than $2 billion, and the FTC has managed to collect nearly $400 million of it, much of which has been used to provide refunds to defrauded consumers. Jen Pachano, 19 News.